Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, words my brethren all around the world watching this video. Interesting news here in the boxing world. Uh, got an article in front of me from BoxingNews24.com. I'll leave it in the description for you guys to read for your own, so you can come to your own conclusion, your own surmise. Gennady Golovkin, okay? It's reported that Triple G and Callum Smith, the 168-pound champion, are in talks for a massive fight next May in Liverpool, England, at Anfield, home of the not as great as Everton Football Club, but Liverpool Football Club. They play at Anfield, big iconic soccer stadium. Triple G moved up to 168 to fight 168-pound Callum Smith in a big fight over there. It's being talked about between Eddie Hearn and Tom Loeffler, Triple G's promoter. So basically, yeah. First of all, that fight is big for so many reasons. We'll start off with a couple things. So for one, we'll start off with the obvious. Triple G moving up from 160 to 168. That's something that people have been clamoring for a lot of years. And this goes all the way back to when Triple G was when Triple G was really in the midst of knocking dudes out left and right in his great middleweight run. And he had that one interesting quote where he said, I'll fight anybody from 160 to 175. And then Andre Ward wanted to fight him. And the fight never happened. And people have always wanted to see him with 168 because they feel like once you take away the power from Triple G at 160, he becomes a very basic boxer. And now if this fight does come about, if it gets past the preliminary talks and they actually verbally agree and then get to the point where they sign some contracts, get the TV deal in place, it's gonna be a great fight because Callum Smith, he seems to be a fighter that's coming into his own. And he's I've actually physically seen Callum Smith in person. I met him. I met Callum Smith 2 years ago at the WBC convention when I was interviewing Tony Bellew, and he's a very, very tall, long, lanky, rangy fighter, and he throws combinations with pretty good speed. He's got solid power out the weight, and he is definitely a formidable opponent against Triple G. So it'd be interesting to see Triple G. I believe Triple G's only about 5'10", 5'11". I could maybe even shorter. It'd be interesting to see Triple G box a guy who was about 4 to 5 inches taller than him. I think it'd be a good test of his own. How good can he control range? How good can he control positioning? Because he's always gotten credit for those things, but it's always been a little bit easier for him because he's been fighting guys who are 160 pounders, and in a lot of cases, 147 pounders or 154 pounders. So he's gonna have to really dig into his toolbox to fight Callum Smith, and then it'll be a big fight in the sense of the venue. To have a big fight at Anfield. For those of you who don't watch soccer, Anfield is one of the most iconic soccer stadiums in the world. When we talk, as much as I hate Liverpool, I can't stand Liverpool. I think they're the scum of the earth, and if they got relegated from the Premier League, I think they'd be the greatest thing in the world. But historically, they're one of the biggest soccer teams in the world, and that stadium can seat up to 54,000. So you'd have 54,000 Liverpoolians in there cheering for Callum Smith. It'd be a hostile environment for Triple G. Something even a much greater level than what he saw at the O2 Arena when he fought Kell Brook. So it's a fight that I think it's being talked about, and I think it's going to be very makeable. Just in the sense that, you got Canelo right now who Triple G wants to fight, and Canelo is jumping up to 168 to fight Rocky Fielding, right? And he wants that fight with Canelo. So if Canelo goes and captures a 168-pound title, then Triple G might have to fight at 168. And Rocky Fielding's a Eddie Hearn fighter. Callum Smith's an Eddie Hearn fighter. So Eddie Hearn's got his hand on both sides of the coin, and as I stated in a recent video, the plan, what they want is for Triple G to silence the zone so that they can make that Canelo fight, and that'll be big for their platform. And a fight with Callum Smith would just be super. I can't overstate how massive it would be. Callum Smith is not a big name, but when you talk about a Triple G fight, when you talk about putting it at Anfield, a big event. You see, a lot of times boxing fans don't understand this. Sometimes a fighter or two fighters by themselves may not be big draws, But when in the right circumstances, in the right context, they can create a massive event. And when you can create any sort of massive event in boxing, then you have yourself, you're in business. That's what you're in the business to do. And Callum Smith, Triple G, Anfield, summer of 2019, it makes a lot of damn sense for the zone and all parties involved. So I like to see it. It'd be for the first time. I mean, a lot of people criticize Triple G because they feel like he didn't take a lot of risk when he was a middleweight champion. There's so many great storylines going into this fight. So like you have this being a very, very tough fight for Triple G. And then on top of that, he's going up to another weight class, gunning for a second world title. He's stepping up against arguably the number one guy, pretty much the number one guy in Callum Smith, the guy that won the World Boxing Super Series, beat George Groves in the semifinal. He's proven himself, and on top of that, Callum Smith absolutely destroyed, massacred, and ripped Rocky Fielding a new asshole when they fought, 2 years ago. So basically, Canelo is fighting a Callum Smith leftover at Madison Square Garden. And Eddie Hearn knows that. So, Triple G's actually fighting a tougher opponent. He's fighting the number one guy in the division in a weight class he's never ventured into. And I think that's to be respected. And then from the flip side of things, it's like, if he beats Callum Smith, right? And this is the biggest problem. He may beat him and get the respect of the UK boxing fans, but he has the respect of the UK boxing fans. He's a great fighter. Usually, if you're a great fighter, you have the respect of the majority of UK boxing fans. But he's not going to really – that's not really going to do anything for him here in America. And that's ultimately where he needs things to go well for him is in America, because unless the zone has plans of taking Triple G Canelo to the UK, beating Callum Smith isn't going to give him much leveraging or negotiating power in America. So that's just cut and dry how it is. And it's a risky fight. And even if he wins the fight, there's no doubt about it. He will take a lot of heavy shots, a lot of hard shots from Callum Smith, and he may, at 36 years old, can he really afford to take that many punches from Callum Smith, a younger, fresher, longer, bigger, taller fighter? I'm not sure he can. So there's a lot of risk reward that Tom Loeffler, KT Promotions, and all parties involved on Triple G's team need to really evaluate. But really, the only way to a Canelo fight, I see it, is number one, by going to the zone, because Canelo's on the zone, and they got a lot of damn money invested into Canelo. So going to the zone route, you're going to have to do that. And then if you go to the zone route, you're going to have to go fight one of the top guys on the platform in Callum Smith, who is the number one guy at middleweight right now. So that's what it is, man. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Triple G, rumored to be fighting Callum Smith at Anfield 2019, May. Being talked about by Eddie Hearn and Tom Loeffler. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Just give me your thoughts, all the good stuff. Take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single video, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.